questions came in, and then you just pick a number, and then based on that, I'll tell you what, what suggestion that corresponds to, and we just kind of go from there.
That's
And
okay.
then, and however, a lot of times it's been like one scene real time, but if you wanna jump around and do different characters, I mean, I just been looking forward to playing the way you like to play. So however that is.
Okay, that's okay.
But okay, so we're live, and we've got pick a number 1 to 53.
53. I guess everyone loves to see me perform. I would have loved to pick number 18 because 18 is my birth date. But I wouldn't pick number 18. No, I wouldn't pick number 18. I'd have loved to pick number 1 because in the register in class, my
Yeah.
name is always number 1. So I won't pick number 1 also. Uh, Let me pick number 13.
Number 13.
It's not my favorite number, but I'll pick it.
I love it. Number 13. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so this comes from Whit, and our suggestion is 2 is not enough.
If
2.
it's with Sheila is a male.
Yes, Whit Shiller.
Yeah, with Sheila, that's my friend. Okay, so I picked the right number. 2 is not enough. Okay. Thank you, Whit.
Thanks, Whit.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I want more.
What?
A laptop.
Yeah.
You know, things have now gone virtual,
Right.
and I'm using one presently, and it's like a twin. You know, this
Yeah.
exact one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the same thing I'm using presently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know.
What? You seem like you want to say something.
I really don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, everything we're doing now is so dependent on technology. I think minimum you need another laptop for sure. I mean, I think I've got, well, look, can I show, look, I've got my laptop, my phone, and look, so I got another laptop here. Just, I mean, it's like a backup just in case. And then
I've got 5 backups.
what?
5.
Yeah.
I've got 5.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. You never know when one's going to go out and you need the other one.
That's actually the real thing, because sometimes I'm having meetings and the network just goes off, and I'm like, I have a backup.
Yeah.
Right here.
But you need the backup to the backup.
I think it's enough. I don't know. Maybe I should get more.
You see, you say you think it's enough, but like the emotion behind your voice makes me think you're still nervous. You might want to get another one.
James.
Yeah.
The truth is this: I actually don't think it's about the laptop.
Really?
You know, I went to see the therapist, and she actually told me to reflect and think deeper. I think it's just the fear and the anxiety that comes from the fact that I have to do everything virtually. Look at you. You're not my therapist, and I'm opening up to you.
Well, I got to tell you, George, listen, kudos to you to going to therapy, to taking that step. I mean, that's a huge step. You know, I'm not going to therapy because I'm so afraid to open up myself. You're an example for me of what should be done. You've got no problem saying like, "Hey, I went to a therapist and here's what they told me to do." Me, I'm like, "Wow, that's a huge step. You're getting at what the root of your situation is." That's
Yeah, but
huge.
the truth is that you just always want to listen to other people's story, and
Always.
you never want to open up. And I
Okay.
think that's selfish of you.
How about if I open up to you right now? I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. All right, I'm going to tell you something. Mom and dad don't even know. Okay. So I'm going to tell you, mom and dad don't know about this.
Okay,
I, t- all right.
come on, come on. You're making me nervous. Come on, tell me.
I've always been afraid of success.
I know
Eh,
that.
Well, I'm wait, that's George, hold on. That's my that's my intro. That's like the intro to what I want to say. That's not what I want to say. That was like the setup to what I want to say.
You like
Yeah.
beating around the bush, right?
Yeah. This is gonna be a long way to the well. All right. I'm gonna take this a long way, but like I'm gonna get there. So I've had a fear of success.
Okay.
What else I didn't realize is I've got a fear of failure. I've got a whole bunch of fear in my life. And I've
I
had a
could
fear.
mention some. You're afraid of cats. You're afraid
Yes.
of dogs. You're afraid of cockroaches. You're afraid of rats.
I've what I've realized is I've kind of been happiest not leaving and staying here doing everything virtually. I think I think it's become a problem where I don't want to leave and experience the real world and I want to keep everything at arm's length. That's that's where I am now and I don't know if I can come out of this. I feel like I'm really comfortable right now but it's not safe.
Come, come,
Yeah.
come, bro.
Oh. Oh.
That's that's that is step. That's the first time you're going to be talking about yourself. That's a
Wow.
huge step, James.
Wow. I wow. That is the first time I've never said that out loud to anybody.
Yeah, apart from the fact that I know that you are afraid of success, yes.
I mean, I mean that, but you're my brother. You know
That's
that. I mean, that's
that's your opening line. You say that all the time. You can sing that. Like, there's a way you sing that. Oh, what's the song again?
yeah.
I'm
Well, that's
afraid of success. I'm afraid of
the
success.
success. That's that's what I use for job interviews. That's what I use when I go on dates. Is that oh, I think I'm afraid of success.
With
Like that.
Angela,
Yeah.
are you still with her?
Well, I guess this
Come
could
on,
be.
come on,
I
come
guess
on.
this could be a second thing. We aren't. You know when I was on Facebook And before I stopped because I didn't want to have my life shared on Facebook. And it was like, it's complicated.
Then you moved to Instagram and started posting your pictures.
Right, which is just as bad because Instagram's owned by Facebook. It's the same company, basically. She asked me, what does that mean? It's complicated. And I said, I've got a fear of success in relationship. And she cut me off and she goes, that's the same thing you used on our first date. She goes, why don't you just embrace the possibility and be happy? And I said, I don't know. So she said to me, when you're ready to embrace that possibility,
Back.
give me a call. She said, I don't know if I'll be. So again, it's complicated, but I don't think we're together. In my mind, I'm working on myself right now. That's my new thing is I'm working on myself.
I think you should come with me to therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really think so.
God, that's scary. But hey, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go. Yeah. Okay. I'll go.
Deal? That's my brother.
Deal.
Yeah, that's my brother. It's okay. It's okay. Don't stain me with your tears, huh?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't think I was gonna cry. I was not planning on crying.
You know what? Maybe I could be a therapist. Well, not in the sense of I'm not licensed to be a therapist, but it's a step there.
Why do I have a fear of success? Why do I convince myself of that? Why is fear sticking? Why is that keeping me from enjoying life? I like this. I like this. Okay. I just want to be happy. Is that possible? Is it possible to be happy with everything that's going on in the world?
How does that make you feel?
Makes
Don't
me
mind,
feel
don't
like
mind me. I was just trying to see if I could actually be a
It's
therapist.
good. I was going to tell you, it makes me feel like it's an unanswered question and we're always chasing something and we're never happy with where we are right now in our lives because we're always thinking we have to climb these mountains. And then when we get to a mountain, there's another mountain we have to climb. And then we climb that mountain and we look out and it's like, wow, there are so many mountains. We're never going to get to the top of where we think we need to go. And the moment right now, the view is pretty good. Wow.
Yeah,
You're good.
I guess I'm a good learner.
Yeah.
I learned so well from my therapist.
You're a good listener. George, you're a good listener.
Oh yeah, that's the word.
Yes.
It's really the word.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
2 hugs is not enough,
No, it's not enough. Scene. Oh, that was so fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your journey into improv? How did you get started? What made you decide to take a class or do a show or do a scene or what interested you about improv?
Well, like I told Margot yesterday, I started improvising when I was 4 years. Um, though of course it wasn't the standard improv, but I would gather in those days I would gather with other young people from my community in Lagos, Nigeria, and after school around 4, 6 p.m., we all come together and it's time for us to play in the community. Nigeria used to, I would say, use the word used to because things are changing now in the virtual world. Most children don't really um, move around with kids in their community any longer. But when we were growing up, we would always gather to play games and improvise plays with children from our community. So we would act the roles of, oh, you are mommy, you are daddy, and you are the children, or you are the police, you are the thief, and we're going to arrest you. And so we would always improvise the scenes. The only difference that at that point we would say, okay, this is your character. Things would switch. Well, we'll develop new characters as we play. But of course, at the beginning, we would have said, oh, okay, you're daddy, you're mommy. No, 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 you're the children. No, 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 I have to be the daddy, right? In those days. So I started improvising at that very tender age, and I started acting also in stage plays in church. I like I told Margot yesterday on a podcast. I said my first role that I can remember was in a play, a Bible character for the play Cain and Abel, the story of Cain and Abel. That was my first performance that I can remember. Maybe I did something before then. I'm not sure, but I can remember that quite well. And I remember also when I was in grade one. Uh, I think grade one would be, I was around age 2 or 3, thereabouts. I just remember that now. I was in a class performance and I played the role of Joseph, and that's when I got my first girlfriend. My wife is here, so I shouldn't say. So I played the role of, it was Christmas play, and that was the first time I had the song long time ago in Bethlehem. So the Holy Bible says. So I played the role of Joseph, my friend who is still a distance friend from till date. Played the role of Mary in that. So that was one of the performances I did. But for improv, my journey started with studying theater, doing that as a child, and going ahead to study theater in school, and doing voice improvisation and doing improv, and then moving to South Africa to study at the Drama for Life, where I studied in applied drama and theater, did a lot of work into Augusto Boal's work, methods of games for actors and non-actors, theater of the oppressed, um, Forum Theatre, Invisible Theatre, and lots of others. So that was my first professional introduction to improvisation, basically. And then I moved on to study playback theatre at the Center for Playback Theatre in New York. I did some internship in Boston at the True Story Theatre, and then at Playback Memphis in Memphis, Tennessee. And I did a lot of reading, and of course, I did my master's, my honors, my master's. So I had 2 degrees in theater. I did my honors in applied drama and theater, my master's in applied drama and theater. And I started my PhD also in applied drama and theater, looking at and my work basically was also, my interest was in the use of playback theater and improvisational theater as a tool for psychosocial support.
Wow.
Yeah, I started working in conflict zones to support children who are exposed to conflict as a way of using play and improvisation for recovery, and also for as a coping mechanism for them. So basically, um, that's basically the journey. So far, I practice improv theater, applied improvisation, applied theater and drama, playback theater and medical improv. And sometimes I combine everything in my work. Sometimes I just look at what is the aim of um, my intervention and then just pick what works from it.
I mean, that's such a fascinating journey. And it harkens back also to like back in the States, the origination was not for entertainment value, it was to help people and connect. And a lot of dealings in the States here of like, how do we overcome language barriers when children immigrate to America? And so it was like, oh, we create a gibberish language, or we focus on the emotions. And taking now that to that next step of helping with, especially with areas of conflict and trauma and resolution, to me, that's what it's all about. It's not like the performance is great, but it's like it's helping human beings and giving them tools to survive and thrive.
Yeah. I also mentioned for me personally, that my idea was to use theater as a tool for helping people, just like you said. While I was studying, a lot of people were just focused on using theater um, for art's sake, in the form of they want to become celebrities. I mentioned to Margot that I started acting professionally on TV at the age of 9. I started appearing on soap, and when I got to age 14, I told myself I wasn't going to go for any auditions again. I was just going to continue to study theater and use my theater as a tool for social development. So
Were you done with like like that side of the business, and you're like, oh, I don't want to, I want to move on to help with more social issues? Is that why you decided I'm not going to continue down that path of being on TV?
well, I started appearing on TV at a very young age, and I would say I love the fame. I wasn't I wasn't an opportunist, and I will explain that word. I fought for it at that tender age. I fought to be on TV. I didn't have a family member who was an actor. I am the first actor in my family. In the whole of my family, I am the first one. So it wasn't as if I was looking up to someone. I was going to be a lawyer as a child, because I wanted to. At age 7, thereabout, I started fighting for children's rights, advocating for children's rights.
Wow.
So I wanted to be a lawyer so I could fight for I could be a human rights activist. But because I knew that I couldn't study law and then still continue with my talents as an artist, so I had to drop that vision for law at that very tender age. And I said, okay, I could still advocate for people's rights using theater. And that's why I started writing plays. I think my first play that I would remember that I wrote on children's rights was to address trafficking of young people and trafficking of human trafficking, basically, and looking at children. My primary audience has always been children. Um, and 80 to 90% of people I work with to date, even though I work with adults, but 80 to 90% of people I work with are still young people. So I train young people to. I also became a broadcaster at the age of 9. So I started presenting programs on TV and also co-producing programs on TV, which was something I fought for. I had to break the barriers. I got punished. I got a lot of no. I remember a producer at a national television in Nigeria. Then when I told him I have an idea, I was in secondary school, my first class in secondary school. That should be grade 7. I don't know, it's the grade you use, grade 7. I was 9, and I approached him. I said, oh, I have a program I want to run on TV. And just to discourage me, because at then children were not allowed on TV, they were just said, oh, go and look. This was in 1997, thereabout. And he said, oh, go and look for sponsors. and what would make you be able to run a program on TV was about uh, at that point was the present $3,000.
Mm.
It was in millions in Nigeria at that point, and $3,000 in 1997 was, you
Lots of
understand,
cash.
lot of cash. And he asked that I go look for that, and that was just to say no. And I had to move on to several other TV stations before I finally got my yes. And so, uh, as an actor, it was a breakthrough for me. My parents never wanted me to act. I lost my father when I was 9, so my mom never wanted me to act. She just wanted us to focus on our education. So I would skip school to go for auditions.
Not tell her.
Not tell her.
Yeah.
First time she saw me on TV, I just had to, oh, I couldn't tell her then that I had to skip school. I was supposed to sleep in locations overnight, but I wouldn't sleep. So I would leave there late and make sure I leave home very early the next day. So that I
No.
could, yeah, leave home very early because I couldn't sleep there. She wouldn't allow. And if she knows I was going to, an African mom would make sure
Oh,
they deal with you.
so
So
you're
it
going
was,
back and forth.
so at age 14, it was just at the peak of my career in acting to now move in and go ahead. There was a lot of opportunities, but I just knew at that point. I think I grew up very early
Mm.
to understand what I was going to be and what I
Yeah.
wanted and what I didn't want in my life. I was so, God helped us so much that we're not easily influenced by what was happening in the society. We
Mm.
were more of role models to other young people. So it was a point where I could have said, oh, let me stick to this fame and go for more auditions and have more people to go with. But I left. I said, no, this is not what I want. I'm not living for myself. I want to live for humanity. And even when I was studying theater right here in Nigeria before I moved to the University of Witwatersrand, doing my second degree, I got a lot of threats from my lecturers who felt, what are you doing? What is this kind of theater you want to create? Because I was creating I created a methodology called Theater for Advocacy.
Mm.
So I was writing my plays to address social issues. And I was like, this is not what theater is about. And then it was until I moved to study at do my course in applied drama and theater, and I said, "This is exactly what I've been doing in Nigeria." I never even knew that this actually exists.
Did you?
Uh,
You must have been looking around like there was nothing in that area where you were in Nigeria that was similar. So you were kind of starting it on your own, and then to find a place where there was something similar you must have felt that connection and also reinforced, oh, I'm doing the right thing. There is.
and then yes, exactly, yes. And what was similar with what they had in Nigeria then, and what is different is uh, what they call community theater.
Mm.
So a lot of people do community theater for development, TFD, and things like that. But my work was a bit different from TFD. Uh, it had to do with a lot of reflection. I wrote my plays to have reflections in them, to have the audience be part of the performances, not just as a spectator, but as spectators. To have the audience say, okay, at the end of my plays that I was writing at that point, the audience always decide the end. So, George, what should happen? I
Wow.
never knew. I never knew about Augusto Boal's film theater and how the Joker would involve the audience, aspect actors, and things like that. So for me, it was just something like so. When I got involved in that in the academic field, it was an affirmation that oh, okay, so you actually didn't create this, or okay, so what you're doing is really right. Uh, and that really helped a lot. And also, I had to because I've been an island. I had to really connect
Yeah.
with a lot of people outside. I have friends who have been doing improv for 30, 20, 40 years. I have friends who have been doing, and I make sure I learn from them. I connect. Before COVID, I would always travel to visit companies who are doing improv and say, okay, what is working for you?
Yeah.
What can I take back home to build? And I went on a learning journey to True Story Theater in Boston, Playback Memphis in Memphis, Tennessee, comedy CSz Portland in Portland, Oregon, and a lot of other companies that I've had to learn from and practice, and also share ideas of what is working for us back home.
And what a silver lining in this dark time of being able to access people virtually, so then you can reach out and connect with people all throughout the globe and say, okay, cool. Like, I didn't know anything about playback theater. I'd heard of it. And then I saw a performance from the folks in Bangalore, India. And it was this immersive, it was beautiful. And I was like, oh my God, it was the most beautiful show I had seen. And it was a virtual show. So to be able to reach out and connect with people throughout the globe and say, hey, I'm not alone. I have this idea, and either I can find people to help me with the idea, or I can find people who are doing something similar. We can talk, learn from each other, and continue to push this forward in a way we hadn't been able to do before, really.
I think that's one of the benefits, or the positive side of COVID-19 pandemic. The idea of having to be in the same space and yet be in different spaces.
Mm.
For example, you're in my room right now, and I'm also in your room. So
Yeah.
if you see me on Facebook right now, I'm in the US. If you see
Right.
me tomorrow morning, well, I came back to Nigeria virtually. All right. So I was a little bit prepared for the virtual world, because as far back as 2016, I was doing my PhD. We used every month we would have like seminars online. So I was back in Nigeria,
Wow.
schooling in South Africa, and some of my other colleagues were also in different countries. And I just didn't want to live abroad. I wanted to live in Nigeria. So
Yeah.
we'd have to meet online and do some embodied work with our supervisor.
Yeah.
Um, and then in November 2019, my then supervisor, because I had to suspend my PhD, my then supervisor, Petro, she's in the AIN community also. Petro invited me, yes, applied improv. Petro invited me to co-facilitate at a conference. I was in Nigeria, she was in South Africa. It was African Arts Research Conference, ARA, Art Research Africa Conference,
Okay.
in South Africa, hosted at the University of Witwatersrand in South Africa. And the workshop was based on doing embodied work online.
Mm. So
And
you're a pioneer in this.
yes, we were prepared. I wouldn't say it was Petro's idea basically, and then we had all the participants log in on their phone to log in on
Wow.
Zoom. So when the pandemic came in and we all had to move to the virtual world, I was one of the first set of people to actually start workshop, because I used to teach over 500 children weekly in a physical class, and that couldn't happen. So everything was on standstill. I just finished our theater festival. Luckily for us, we're supposed to have an Easter camp with. So each year I used to host international facilitators to come to Nigeria. Some of my friends coming to Nigeria. So last year, Patrick Schott was supposed to come to Nigeria in August, and Jonathan Ague was supposed to come to Nigeria in April. They had gotten their visa, and then the lockdown happened. So I had to then look at, okay, what can we do online? And I started what I call the COVID boredom vaccine. COVID-19 boredom vaccine. It's on my YouTube page at Playback Nigeria. And then I started inviting. It wasn't easy because a lot of people were not used to the virtual world.
That
I
was
was
right. That was so early.
Yes. Uh, as at April, we had our first COVID bottom vaccine session, and I think I had just about 6 people, including my mom, joining online at the beginning of the lockdown, and
God bless her.
and then it was something that where as a result of that also I was able to start. I invited a couple of my friends in the playback community to join a virtual company I was initiating
Mm,
called Playback for Playbackers, now Playback for People.
mm.
And I think I'm the only one that I've met a few others. Some of them we've never met before. I've never met a lot of them. I think I've met about 2 or 3 of the people in there. But a lot of the other actors in there we've never met. We only met on Facebook, and we meet every Tuesday till date to rehearse and then perform at least once in a month
Wow.
for international audience. So that's one of the benefits of COVID. In addition to that, um, 4 years ago I started a children's theater festival, and then this year wasn't going to hold because of the pandemic. We're lucky that it was just after it was the week of the festival last year that we had our first case of COVID in Nigeria. So we're able to do the festival. But
Wow.
this year wasn't going to hold. So I reached out to the applied improvisation community and a lot of improvisation community, and I said I needed to work with international facilitators who would like to train children in Nigeria and also co-create performances with children from their own country. And I got over 40 responses. Um, we reached out to schools in Nigeria to say, oh, we're getting you international facilitators to direct and workshop your performance for the International Children's Theatre Festival. As of today, we are having the festival is going to be in May on the 27th and 28th of May. It's online, virtual, on Zoom. And kids are joining from all over. We have performances from the US, from the UK, from Israel, from Germany, from Nepal, from India, from Malaysia, um, from Australia, from all over.
Wow.
And kids meet every day of the week. Some meet once in a week, some meet every day of the week. And they've been rehearsing for the past 9 weeks. Rehearsing every week with different facilitators, and they are preparing performances in improv, in playback theater, device performances, workshops, shadow theater, and it's all going to be online. So that's one of the benefits of COVID. I wouldn't have been able to bring over 20 facilitators to Nigeria to work with kids. Even if we had to bring 20 facilitators, we wouldn't have been able to bring children from India and things like that in just 4 years. And we're doing that. So that's one of the blessings of COVID-19. On the other side, we get too tired of the virtual world. I am tired. I get tired. At this moment, I can't wait for my theater festival to be over so that I could start a new project.
I mean, isn't that the way it is? It's like that one's about to come up, and now it's like, great, I want to let that go. I want to let it live, and I want to start the next thing, and I want to affect and connect with as many people as possible, and I'm looking for that next moment.
Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to get back into the physical space. I've started the physical teaching back. I meet with my students now. At the moment, I have about close to 400 kids I meet weekly in the physical classes that I take in schools. So that's a plus for me. It's giving me a balance to still do my virtual work, but a lot of children I work with are also very tired right now doing work virtually.
Of
A
course.
lot of facilitators don't want to take online classes any longer. I guess that stage where I think it was last year I had to turn off. I was part of a couple of online virtual workshops and conferences. Um, uh, the Global Play Brigade run by Kathy Salit, and at a point I had to just step down because it was just I have had a lot of people invite me to join their podcast, and sometimes as much as I want to do it, it's that point where God, it's still on my laptop. I don't want, I have 7 laptops. Sometimes I have to put on about 3 laptops to say, okay, in case this network is bad, I can fall into this network, or in case this laptop freezes, and
There's
all those
it's stressful because you're
precisely.
like, it's like, I want, first we didn't know it was going to happen. So it's like, I want to do a bunch of stuff, whatever I can do. Yep. Then you're like, well, I'm doing too much. I need to pull back. And then you're like, I have no idea what my
I'm
technology is
saying,
gonna be like. I have no, like, I've got some days in my house, there are 6 people online trying to do things from school to work. And it's like, and I tell people it might cut out. I hope it doesn't. I just have no control over this technology. And if it does, just bear with me. So I understand that, where it's like, man, there's so much happening. And you've got, yeah, I do have a laptop next to me. I've got my phone. I've got 2 sets of earbuds and headphones just in case one goes out. I mean, there is a lot of things that we didn't have to do when we're in person. We just show up in person. Here it's like, my lighting, what time of day is it? Is there going to be somebody outside making noise? Like, it's all those things you have to consider.
and what I also think, well, there are positive sides to it, like I said, and there are negative sides to it. It's also allowed us to transform our work to see
Yeah.
what works and what new things work. What are the new things that can work? What are the trips that we can avoid?
Yes.
What are the physical meetings we can avoid? What are the physical classes we can avoid? And one of the many benefits is you can have a performance right here and have audiences from tens of nations around the world. I had my virtual wedding last year. CSz Portland performed from Portland, Oregon,
Yes.
with actors from about 2, 3 other cities. And I was in Nigeria with my wife in a room. And I had audience members, some of my friends like Toby and a lot of others from different countries, all joining my virtual wedding theater
Amazing.
performance. And it's something that wouldn't have happened if even if COVID didn't happen. A lot of people are like, oh no, I don't have what but virtual wedding. But now it's in a dictionary.
And now we're looking to the next phase of what's this going to look like when we incorporate virtual and live. What's the hybrid look like? What, like you said, what are the things we can do online? What are things that we need to do live? How do we navigate that? So I think there's the next year or so will be a lot of that and a lot of trial and error. And then eventually it's like, wow, we should embrace the things we can do on technology, embrace that, look at the stuff to do in person. What I want to reach out to somebody. I can't afford to bring them to me, but if I turn on my computer, we can make that work. We've done it.
Funny enough, I did that in 2016.
Yeah.
I I met Vanji David in Serbia. Vanji David is the playback. I runs organizational theater in India, and I was creating my new company. And each year I bring in people to Nigeria, and I train my ensemble. And because we couldn't afford to bring Vanji to Nigeria, then we did a workshop with Vanji on Skype. We had 2 systems, one in an angle, the other facing another angle. And Ranji we're doing a playback theater workshop. I think I still have a video of it somewhere
Yeah. Yeah.
where we had an online workshop as far back as 2016. That same workshop happened with Debbie Eden, who
Yeah.
runs a playback theater company in Washington State, and we had an online workshop also with that.
So now it's like, I can't even imagine back in that, because we had the technology obviously, but to do it and go, all right, how are we gonna, because you've heard those arguments of like, we can't, how we do theater online, and 5 years ago, you're like, let's try it. Let's see what happens and let's give it a shot and then see what works and use that moving forward.
Yeah. I think it's just about seeing visions and seeing things ahead of time to say, okay, let's see if this. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was able to survive the pandemic.
Mm.
All the experiences that I've had in the past. Otherwise, we have a lot of things that wouldn't have been of benefit to us. Was it the internet connection, or the fact that people don't even have interest in physical theater, not to talk of virtual theater? But because it's something that we've really, really been part of,
Right.
something we have seen, and we didn't know the pandemic was going to happen, of course. And because we've done it in the past, it was easier for us to reconnect and say, okay, we could do virtual this, both for children and for adults, and do workshops.
I mean, it's just looking at it now, it's like unbelievable. The last 13 months or however long it is, the fact that we're able to survive, adapt. I mean, it's all those skills we learned in improv, but we go, okay, now we have to put them into practice because there was no alternative. We couldn't go places for a long time. And so now we took it. It's like, wow, what a good connection. And I know you just did a podcast with Margot on her improv interviews, which is going to come out, I think, within the next couple of weeks or so, which I know you talked more about your story. And that was another example of something of a connection through virtual to then talk to folks and say, hey, here's my story. How do we connect in this world when we can't do it live in person? Well, here's the next best thing we can do.
Okay. If you allow me, I could show you the video. I could share the video of our first COVID burden vaccine.
Wait, now let me.
Right here.
Hold on, I might have to. All right. Okay, so now you should be able to see if you can share. I made you a co-host here.
Okay.
So see if that, yeah. That.
Okay. This is it here. Share screen. Okay, sorry, sharing now.
Yep.
So you call someone?
Marika.
Yes, thank you. Here, I'm from the Netherlands. I saw the message on Applied Improv Network on the Facebook group. And I'm also looking for all these initiatives that are happening with people having play breaks, just playing or doing exercises. So I am a theater teacher. So I also want to look for ideas that I can do with my students.
All right. So you call someone, and I think I'm the last person.
Yeah, see you.
All right. I'm trying to forward it so that so this happened on the 1st of April, 2020.
And are you doing that through Zoom? Is that the platform?
Yes, this was Zoom. Yes, on the 1st of April, 2020.
Oh my goodness. And don't you look back at some of those older videos that we've recorded and you're like, I didn't know anything about lighting. I didn't know anything about where to put my camera. I didn't know. I was just trying to get on and see how it works. And now I know so much more than back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of people have actually developed a lot of things, how to share, play music right now on Zoom, and how to. There are a lot of people doing a lot of performances that I've seen, people doing maestro and people doing comedy sports and theater sports right now on Zoom. And those knowing what to do is really important, and being able to continue. A lot of businesses have been able to, arts organizations or art companies have been able to sustain what they do basically by moving online. While a lot of people were still say, "Oh, let's wait till COVID ends," they're becoming irrelevant.
Yeah.
So
they become obsolete, and people are going, let's make this work. And it is possible to do it. And you have to have that attitude. And I saw that that's part of Playback Nigeria, that YouTube channel there. Like, if people want to follow you or get a hold of you, bring you on board as a coach or teacher, or, work with your groups, or just follow shows you're doing, what's the best way they can do that?
They can reach out to us either on social media or via email. The website is still scanty at the moment because we're trying to update. We're trying to move out of Nigeria and a lot of documentation. So we don't want to spend a lot of money on the website and still have to come back and change some things out there. So, but our website is playbacknigeria.com. The website is playbacknigeria.com. And then our email is office@playbacknigeria.com. Office@playbacknigeria.com. If you just go on Google and just put Playback Nigeria, or even if you type improvisational theater in Nigeria, it's only going to bring out Playback Nigeria, which you certainly won't see any other organization on that. So Playback Nigeria on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. YouTube is Playback Nigeria TV.
Okay. Oh, well, what a great conversation. I love talking with you. And thank you for taking time out of your day and spending it here with me. And whether we're virtual again or in person, I can't wait to play with you again. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thank you for inviting me. And when I saw this, I was like, this is wonderful. Last year I invited, and I'm saying this live now so that in case I'm lying, they can code. I was actually going to look at Francesca Reid and then Charlie Ford. I said, Francesca, she's in the UK, Charlie Ford is in the US. Said, let's do improv on Instagram Live once in a week and do improv on Instagram Live. So I invited me. I said, this is exactly what I was going to do. So thank you so much for making me part of the vision. Thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. We will talk soon, my friend.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Have a nice day.